I stirred the pasta sauce, the smell of garlic and tomatoes filling our small kitchen. It had been a long day at the office, but I always made sure dinner was ready when Alina got home. 7 years of marriage had taught me that much keep her happy, keep things smooth. The front door opened. I heard her heels clicking against the hardwood floor. "Hey babe," I called out. "Dinner's almost ready." She walked in, tossing her yoga mat in the corner. Something was different about her tonight. She looked energized, almost glowing, but there was a distance in her eyes I couldn't quite place. "We need to talk," she said, sitting down at the table. My stomach dropped. Those 4 words never meant anything good. I turned off the stove and sat across from her, my hands suddenly cold. "What's wrong?" I asked. "Nothing's wrong, David. I just ... I need to tell you something." She picked at her nails, not looking at me. "I'm going away for a week?" "Going away? Where?" She finally met my eyes. "With Marcus, from my yoga studio." I blinked. "Marcus, the instructor." "Yes." The word hung in the air between us like a grenade. I waited for her to laugh, to say she was joking. She didn't. "I don't understand," I said slowly. "You're going on a trip with your yoga instructor." "Not a trip. I'm spending the week with him. At his place." My fork clattered against my plate. You're telling me you're going to stay with another man?" "David, please don't make this harder than it is." She sighed, like I was the one being unreasonable. "I have been unhappy for months. I need this. I need to figure out what I want." "What you want?" My voice cracked. "Alina, we're married. I know that. But I can't keep pretending everything's fine when it's not. Marcus makes me feel alive again. With you, I just feel ... stuck." Stuck. The word cut deeper than I expected. I'd spent 7 years supporting her. Career, cooking her meals, doing everything I could to make her happy. And I'd made her feel stuck. "When are you leaving?" I heard myself ask. "Tonight?" I already packed. I watched her stand up and walk to our bedroom. My legs wouldn't move. I sat there, frozen, as she dragged a suitcase down the hallway. She'd already decided. This wasn't a discussion, it was a notification. She stopped at the door, looking back at me with something that might have been pity. "I'll be back next Friday," she said. "We'll talk then, okay?" She kissed my forehead like I was a child, grabbed her keys, and left. The door closed. The apartment fell silent, except for the sound of my own breathing. I stared at the half-eaten pasta on the table, at the 2 plates I'd carefully set out, at the life I thought we had. She was gone. Just like that. Asterisk, I didn't sleep. How could I? I lay in our bed, my bed now, I supposed, staring at the ceiling. The sheets still smelled like her perfume. It made me sick. I kept replaying everything, every moment, every sign I'd missed. Had she been seeing him for months? Had she been lying to me every time she came home from yoga? How many times had she kissed me while thinking about him? I remembered our wedding day. She'd looked so beautiful, in her white dress, tears streaming down her face as she promised to love me forever. "Through better or worse," she'd said. "Till death do us part." I guess worse came sooner than we thought. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. I grabbed it, hoping maybe she'd changed her mind. Maybe she was coming home. It was from Alina. "Don't overthink this. I just need space." I read it 3 times. Space. That's what she called abandoning your husband for another man. Space. The audacity of that message broke something inside me. She actually expected me to wait around like a loyal Doug while she screwed someone else for a week. Then she'd come home, and we'd talk. And I'd probably forgive her because that's what I always did. No. Not this time. I got out of bed and paced the living room. The sunrise was starting to creep through the windows. I'd been awake for 9 hours. And for the first time, everything felt clear. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to wait. I wasn't going to let her come back and pretend this was salvageable. I was going to disappear. My phone rang. Tom's name flashed on the screen. "Hey man," I answered, my voice hoarse. "David, you okay? You sound terrible." "Alina left." "Left? What? Do you mean left?" "She's spending a week with her yoga instructor. His name is Marcus. She told me last night," and walked out the door. Silence. Then, "Are you fucking kidding me?" "I wish I was." "David, I'm coming over." "No, it's okay, I'm coming over. Give me 20 minutes. He hung up before I could argue. I sat down on the couch, suddenly exhausted. Tom was right to come. I needed someone to tell me I wasn't crazy, that what Alina did was as messed up as it felt. By the time he arrived, I made coffee. He took one look at me and pulled me into a hug. "I'm so sorry, man," he said. "Yeah, me too." We sat at the kitchen table. I told him everything, the announcement, the suitcase, the text message. Tom's face grew darker with every word. "You're not seriously going to take her back, are you?" he asked. I didn't answer. "David, please tell me you're not going to take her back." "I don't know what I'm going to do," I admitted. I don't know anything anymore. Tom leaned forward. Listen to me. You have 1 week. 1 week before she comes back, expecting you to forgive her and move on like nothing happened. Don't waste it. What are you saying? I'm saying you deserve better than this. And if you're smart, you'll make sure there's nothing left for her to come back to. Tom's words echoed in my head all morning. By noon, I knew what I had to do. Help me move out, I said when I called him back. Now we're talking. I've got a spare bedroom. It's yours as long as you need it. I need a lawyer too. Do you know anyone? Actually, yeah, Linda Chun. She handled my cousin's divorce last year. She's tough as nails. Want me to call her, please? 2 hours later, I was sitting in Linda's office. She was in her 40s, sharp eyes behind weir-rimmed glasses, and she didn't waste time on small talk. Tell me what happened, she said. Pen, ready? I explained everything. She took notes, her expression neutral. Has she moved out or indicated she wants a divorce? Linda asked. No, she expects to come back Friday. And you want to file before then?
Yes.
Linda smiled for the first time. You have a week? Let's make it count. She explained the process: filing papers, dividing assets, changing accounts. It sounded overwhelming, but she made it seem manageable. I'll start drafting the paperwork today, she said. California is a no-fault state, so we don't need to prove adultery. But document everything. Texts, dates, witnesses. It'll help if she tries to fight. She won't have anything to fight for, I said quietly. Linda studied me. Good. Most people wait too long to stand up for themselves. You're doing the right thing. I left her office feeling lighter than I had in 24 hours. Next, I called Mr. Patel, my old landlord from before Alina, and I got married. He was a kind man, always checking in on his tenants. David, it's been years. How are you, Sen? I've been better, Mr. Patel. Do you have any units available? I need a place fast. For you always? When do you need to move in? This week. He didn't ask questions. Come by tomorrow. We'll get you settled. That night, I started packing. Clothes, books, my laptop, everything that was mine and mine alone. I left the couch we'd bought together, the pictures on the walls, the shared memories. None of it mattered anymore. Tom came over with boxers. You're really doing this, he said, impressed. I really am. How do you feel? I taped up a box of books. Scared, angry, but mostly relieved. That's good, man. That's really good. By midnight, half my life was packed into cardboard boxers. I looked around the apartment at the spaces I was leaving empty and realized I wasn't losing anything. I was finally taken aback. By Wednesday. I was moving at full speed. I went to the bank with Linda's instructions, printed out. The manager, a woman named Susan, looked uncomfortable as I explained I needed to split our joint accounts. Is your wife aware of this? Susan asked carefully. She will be, I said. Susan processed the paperwork. I took half, not out of spite, but fairness. I'd contributed just as much as Alina over the years. Maybe more. Next. I canceled Netflix, Spotify, the meal delivery service she loved. I removed my name from the electric bill, the internet, everything. Let her figure it out when she got back. I changed every password. Bank accounts, email, social, media, all of it. Then, I went to our storage unit. I'd almost forgotten about the things I'd boxed up years ago to make room for Elena's stuff. My father's watch, the one he'd given me before he died. Photo albums from college. My guitar, which I hadn't played since the wedding. I pulled out each item carefully, remembering the person I used to be. Somewhere along the way, I'd stopped being David and started being Elena's husband. I didn't even know when it happened. At work that afternoon, Jessica stopped by my desk. You've been distracted lately, she said. Is everything okay? Jessica and I had worked together for 3 years. She'd been through a messy divorce herself, so if anyone would understand, it was her. My wife left me for her yoga instructor, I said flatly. Her eyes widened. Oh my God, David. I'm so sorry. Don't be. I'm leaving her first. Jessica smiled sadly. Good for you. Seriously. Whatever you're doing, don't second-guess yourself. You deserve better. Thanks, Jess. She squeezed my shoulder and walked away. It was a small gesture, but it meant everything. That night, I moved the last of my boxers to Mr. Patel's apartment. It was smaller than what I was used to, but it was mine. No shared memories, no ghosts. I sat on the floor. I hadn't moved furniture. Yatan looked around. Empty walls, bare floors, nothing but potential. For the first time in 7 years, I could breathe. Thursday morning, I woke up in my new apartment and felt nothing but determination. I called Linda. Are the papers ready? Just finalize them. I'm filing electronically today. She'll be served within 48 hours. Perfect. I changed my phone number and blocked Alina on everything: calls, texts, social media. She wouldn't be able to reach me. Not anymore. Then I went back to the old apartment one last time. I left an envelope on the kitchen counter. Inside, the divorce papers, my wedding ring, and a short note I'd written that morning. I hope it was worth it. Don't contact me again. No anger. No begging. Just facts. I walked through the apartment slowly, saying goodbye to the life I thought I'd have. The photos on the walls showed a couple that didn't exist anymore. The furniture we'd picked out together felt like someone else's memories. I locked the door, slid the key under the mat, and texted the landlord that Alina would be the sole tenant moving forward. It was done. Tom met me at my new place with pizza and beer. "How are you feeling?" he asked. I cracked open a beer and took a long drink. "Free. For the first time in days." I smiled. "A real one?" Tom grinned. "That's what I like to hear. You know she's going to lose her mind when she gets back, right?" "I know. You ready for that?" I thought about it. She made her choice. Now she gets to live with it. We spent the rest of the night setting up my apartment, hanging up my father's watch, putting my guitar in the corner. It wasn't much, but it was mine. Friday afternoon, I was at my new apartment. When Tom called, "She's back," he said. "She just called me." My heart jumped, but I kept my voice steady. "What did she say?" "She was freaking out. Asked where you were, if I knew anything. I told her you'd moved on and hung up." "How did she sound?" "Panicked. Confused. Angry." He paused. "David, she has no idea what's coming." Later, through a mutual friend, I learned exactly what happened when Alina got home. She'd walked in, suitcase in hand, calling my name like nothing had changed. When I didn't answer, she'd started noticing things. My shoes weren't by the door. My jacket wasn't on the hook. The books on the shelf gone. She'd found the envelope on the counter. I imagined her hands shaking as she read my note, her face going pale as she saw the divorce papers. The wedding ring rolling across the counter. She'd tried calling me. Disconnected number. Texts. Blocked. Social media. Blocked everywhere. Then she'd call Tom. Desperate. "Where is he?" she'd demanded. "He's done, Alina. He's moved on. Don't call again." Tom hung up. She was alone in that apartment, surrounded by the life she'd thrown away. I wondered if she'd called Marcus next. I later found out she had aimed. He didn't answer. He'd wanted an affair, not a relationship. Now that she'd actually left me, he'd lost interest. She'd sit in that empty apartment, realizing she'd gambled everything and lost. Good. The following weeks were a blur of reconstruction. I started seeing Dr. Clara, a therapist Tom recommended. She was patient and kind, helping me untangle 7 years of making myself smaller. "You weren't in a partnership," she told me during our third session. "You were managing her emotions while neglecting your own." She was right. I'd been so focused on keeping Alina happy that I'd forgotten to be happy myself. At work, I threw myself into projects. My boss noticed and gave me more responsibility. It felt good to be valued. Through mutual friends, I heard about Alina's spiral. Marquise had gone her complete. She'd quit her job impulsively, thinking she'd figure it out later. Now she was broke, depressed, and alone. My mother called me one afternoon, furious. "I just heard what Alina did," Margaret said. "David, I'm so sorry. I always knew she didn't deserve ya." "Thanks, Mom. Are you okay?" "Really, I am. I really am." Then Alina's sister, Rachel, reached out. We'd always gotten along, and I felt bad that she was caught in the middle. "I'm so sorry for what Alina did," Rachel said over coffee. "She's my sister, but what she did was wrong." "How is she?" I asked, not sure why. "Honestly, not good. She lost her job. Marcus won't talk to her, and she's barely leaving her apartment. She keeps asking about you." I felt a flicker of sympathy. Then I remembered her kissing my forehead before leaving to spend a week with another man. "She made her choice," I said firmly. Rachel nodded. "I know. I just thought you should know she regrets it. It doesn't matter anymore." And it didn't. Her regret didn't undo the disrespect. It didn't erase the pain. It was just too late. 3 months later, my life looked completely different. I'd been promoted at work. I'd started playing guitar again, even joined a local jam session on weekends, and I'd gone on a casual date with Jessica. Nothing serious, just coffee and conversation. It felt normal. It felt right. One evening, I was grabbing coffee when I saw her. Alina sat alone in the corner, looking tired and worn down. She saw me too, her eyes widening. She stood up and walked over hesitantly. "David," she said softly, "please, can we just talk?" I looked at her calmly. "There's nothing to say, Alina. You chose him. You chose yourself. I chose me." Her eyes filled with tears. "I made a mistake. I miss you. I miss us." I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just indifference. "I hope you find what you're looking for," I said, "but it's not with me. David, please. Goodbye, Alina." I walked away without looking back. My hands were steady. My heart was calm. She'd lost the power to hurt me. Asterisk, 6 months after everything fell apart. My divorce was finalized. Tom and Jessica came over to celebrate. We ordered takeout and toasted with cheap wine. 2 new beginnings, Tom said, raising his glass. 2 freedom, Jessica added. I smiled. 2. Letting go. I'd started writing again, something I'd abandoned when I married Alina. I was working on a novel about second chances, about finding yourself after losing everything. That evening, after Tom and Jessica left, I sat on my balcony watching the sunset. The city stretched out before me, full of possibility. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I already knew who it was. Alina had tried reaching out twice in the past month. Each time, I deleted the message without reading it. This time was no different. I picked up my guitar and played the song I'd been working on. I called it Nothing Left Behind, because that's what I'd done. I'd left nothing for her to take, nothing for her to ruin. I'd taken back my life, my identity, my future. Alina had bet on Marcus and lost everything. I'd bet on myself and won. The sunset turned the sky orange and pink. I played another chord, then another. Somewhere in the city, Alina was probably still regretting her choices, but I wasn't thinking about her anymore. I was too busy living. The end.